Dak Prescott, with basically Tony Romo looking over his shoulder pads for about half the year, won 11 straight games, and in the games that he started and finished, he went 13-2, and he led the Dallas Cowboys against all odds to the #1 seed in the NFC. And for all that, you don't get rewarded, or at least awarded, with a nod from your head coach the next day, as in, you're our starting quarterback going into next year. Nope. He didn't get it because the owner doesn't believe he should be the starting quarterback. I don't care what. You can say that Jerry's just playing games here, trying to enhance Tony's trade value by trying to make the NFL world think, well, maybe Tony will be the starter in Dallas next year. I'm not buying it.
Nope.
I think the owner is stuck on Tony Romo. He loves him. He loves his ability, his capability. He's box office. He's a much more spectacular player, high risk, high reward, than Dak Prescott is, and all Dak Prescott does is win games, and I thought, again, that he played well enough to win this one. They didn't close the deal, and that opened or reopened the door for Tony Romo and Jerry Jones to emerge next year triumphant in Dallas, and there's no way Tony Romo can win as many games next year as Dak Prescott did this year.
Skip, I agree with you 1,000%. This isn't Jason Garrett's call. This is Jerry Jones's call. And in his press conference, Jason Garrett says, we'll make that decision as an organization. No, you won't. Jerry Jones will tell you what he's going to do with Tony Romo, and then you'll come out to the media. Well, Jerry will probably beat you to it. Tell everybody he's trading Tony Romo, because I still believe he's trading Tony Romo. Any general manager that thinks that's dumb enough to think that Jerry's going to hang on to Tony Romo just so he can get a third or a second-round draft pick out of the deal, if I'm Jerry, I'm just hoping I can get something. That way I don't have to cut him and have $19 million of dead money on my cap. If somebody give me a 5th or 6th rounder, wherever you want to go, I'm going to try to get you to where you want to go, Tony. That's what I'm going to try to do. But at the end of the day, as they always do, Skip, you remember how they like they did Tyrod Taylor, Buffalo, they didn't want to have the risk. They made a business decision. At the end of the day, the Cowboys will make a business decision. Now, we can laugh and talk about Jerry, and we give him a hard time. But Jerry's smart, real smart. I'm talking about like MIT when it comes to business smart. And so he's going to make the best decision. Because here's the thing, Skip. As you mentioned, he was 13-2 in games in which he started and finished. Now, if Dak Prescott hasn't answered all the questions, you're asking the wrong questions. Because I don't really know what else he can do. And the mere fact it took him so long before Jerry Jones says he has my vote of confidence and I'm backing him 1,000%. That was what, week 13. What took you so long? I mean, you just see the guy just win game after game in dramatic fashion. Plays for the lead, keeps the lead. Come from behind, go to Pittsburgh, division rival in the Eagles, boom, drive, tied up, get the ball in overtime. Eagles, we're not going to even let you touch the football. Pittsburgh, hey, that high-flying offense, you take the lead, guess what? I'm going to make a couple of throws here and there. Zeke hit your head on the goalpost. So whatever they've asked of him, he's done multiple. And now I feel bad. I really feel bad for Jason Garrett, because as a head coach, you would like to think you control some of the things. And I'm sure he does some things. But for the most part, he conveys what Jerry wants to say. If and when Jerry feels it's the need to let everybody know moving forward the direction they're going in with Tony Romo, he'll tell Jason, and Jason will let the media know. But probably Jerry, since he has his own show, Jerry will probably break that news on his own show. But Skip, there's no question in my mind. This young man, I believe he's had the greatest. Now, he didn't win a playoff game like Ben did in his rookie year, but they were a defensive-based football team. He didn't win a playoff game like Joe Flacco did in his rookie year, but they were a defensive-based football team. I believe from what I've seen in all the years that I've played and followed the game, he's had the best rookie year as a rookie quarterback. And no one else had had someone looking over their shoulder. Because when they drafted Joe Flacco, Joe was the guy. When Tommy Maddox got hurt, Coach Kyle the Steelers were never going to look back at Tommy Maddox. They knew he was a stopgap. That's why they took him.
Even Peyton Manning's rookie year, he was definitely the guy. He had a bad year, but he was the guy. He didn't have to worry about getting replaced.
When they draft a quarterback in the first round, there was a reason, because you're saying the guy that we got right now, he's not getting it done. So when they made the move to put the guy in, they weren't going back to Tommy Maddox in Pittsburgh. They weren't going back to whomever in Baltimore.
And they weren't going back to Drew Bledsoe in New England.
No.
Yep.
So
that wasn't Tom's rookie year; it was his second year. But
second
still,
year.
Yeah.
And granted, I understand you drafted Dak in the 4th round. You didn't know what you had. Just like Seattle didn't know what they had in Russell Wilson until you put him in the game. Because you just hope, Skip, when players draft, and I've talked to a lot of GMs, when you draft a player, you just hope the production you see on the field on the tape matches up at the combine, but you really never know until you get him in your building, in your system, and see how he functions. Well, you got Dak in your building, Tony Romo got hurt, and Dak got in there, and he never looked back. It could have hold a fort down with him. If we were saying, Skip, you said, well, if he can be 2-2 until Tony comes back.
Sure.
Nah, I'm gonna do you one better than that. When Tony is fully capable of coming back, I will have lost only one game. And Tony Romo, you're never, ever, ever, ever gonna see this job again. But they keep dangling the man around, they keep dilly-dallying. But you know what? Looking at him, he's built the right stuff. He's unflappable. So, Jerry, you can dangle this job. We might put Tony in, we might not. You can do all that. This kid's not budging because he's made of the right stuff. And so, you do you. If I'm Dak Prescott, I don't need to say anything. What do you think about you not getting support from me? I don't need the support. All I need to do is just keep winning games. Because how foolish would Jerry Jones look to replace this young man after what happened? And then Tony Romo gets in there and lays an egg.
Jerry does not care about looking foolish. He doesn't care what you think or I think or Joy thinks. He cares about that he owns the football team, and he has 3 rings already, albeit 20 years back that he was winning them.
But what does he want, Skip? He wants that one ring. Because at the end of the day, Jimmy, because, he won a ring with Barry Switzer.
He did.
But everybody says those were Jimmy players.
Yeah, but that was huge for his pride to win it with Barry Switzer.
Yes.
And it would be even huger for his pride to win it with Tony Romo.